Hey, you are on NBT SKY's channel, and you know I've been gone for a minute, but I'm back on the jump off. And so today is Martin Luther King Day, and we are doing a bone throw and a little tarot reading and a little discussion of the numbers for Martin Luther King, right? This is definitely, in the history category, so check for it. Anyway, before I get into the tarot and the bone throw, I'm just discuss the numbers a little bit. So I'm going not off of today, but off of name, date of birth, and the time that he passed away. So what we got is Pluto that comes in twice, right? So this is a balance and transition and endings. And then you have Jupiter, which is a balance in between creativity and communication. Now when he comes in and there's a little Uranus and Neptune in the medium frequency. So when he during his time of birth, him having access to information and secrets, that was going to come natural. Mercury comes in one time, so he was going to be a natural communicator regardless. Saturn comes in one time, so he comes in with these gifts to be able to create. This is a Capricorn energy, right? When you're coming into the ones, this is the gifts that come. So the gifts of the water and the air, the fire and the earth. Now, he doesn't have the ones in the fire, but it's okay. The gift of being able to produce and create, right? And foundation and stability, that comes in Saturn, being focused and kind of business minded. And then you have this Venus, this family structure, caring about family, wanting to see family do well, that kind of thing. So this is an overall when it comes to his numbers, but the balancing act was between the energies of Pluto and the energies of Jupiter, which was, a discussion of his creative abilities and how to create, right? So let's see what the card is now. Because he's a Capricorn and his birthday is on the 15th of January, even though we celebrating it 5 days later, which still will put us in this, if we're looking at numbers of Mercury kind of energy, right? It's the devil. The devil represents Capricorn. Now, the thing that's interesting about this is that, his whole fuss and fight was about not being bound and restricted and, the violations and that took place in that particular time and space when he was alive. So this was about being free from these boundaries and bondages that was put upon himself, his ancestors, and people in general. And the concept of bringing things together. So let's see what else is going to be discussed. And yes, I did my prayers, and I always ask for good energy. Always, right? So before the bone throw, I'm not going to throw that many cards down, but we got this Capricorn energy right here. We got the devil in it. The conversation was the release of bondages, slavery, being mistreated, all that good stuff. Things that was going on in the communities at that particular time. So let's see what else is going on. So we got the Ten of Swords. So this is letting us know the conversation is, I got stabbed in the back, and that's how all failed. So it's letting you know off the rip. He's stating in the energies that he got stabbed in the back, point blank, bottom line, and that's how it all kind of ended, getting crossed. This is air energy. So we got the Four of Pentacles, Earth energy, Three of Pentacles, Earth energy, and then we have the Strength. This is fire energy. So when this discussion comes about, right, is I got stabbed in the back. Selfish people did sneaky things. It was constructed behind his back. People worked together to get this situation done. This is why he's not here. People that had power, which we all know, right? So let's see what else it says, and then we're gonna look at the bones. So let's ask this question. What is it that today, on his day, would he like for us to focus on and know about? Because we all kind of figured out how he ended up not here physically. So let's ask that question. Two of Pentacles, balance. Ace of Swords, communication. Six of Cups, past issues in the Two of Swords. So when you're looking at this, you're looking at air energy. You're looking at all of the air energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. You're looking at the Pentacles, which is earth energy. You're looking at the Cups, that's water energy. And then you back into the Two of Swords again, which is air energy. So this is a discussion of balancing between how we think in the physical realm, how we communicate in the physical realm, how we speak. Now, as you know, one of the favorite speeches is he had a dream, he had a speech. So and that became a speech, right? That information came from something higher to him, obviously, if he had a dream, into the physical realm, and so it was discussed. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, it still discusses that people that he's speaking about, people that he had a connection with and that was building with, people that he would have considered friends, old friends and stuff like that, who had power, that kind of looked away and knew that certain things was going to take place, and they did not speak on it, they did not warn, even though he kind of had a little understanding of what was going on and kind of heard the whispers of what possibly may have been going on at that time. But in the now, is about finding balance and communication, agreements, understanding, being careful and mindful of all of the people that you think you are close to, even if you work with them, this, that, and the third, and how much power they may have to keep you kind of separate, to keep you kind of, not paying attention to what everybody had to go through prior for everybody to get where they are right now. Alright, so let's look at the bones. I'm going to keep the card right here because that's the card that we use and that identifies his zodiac sign. And then we're going to see what the bones say. Alright, let's see what the bones say. Oops, excuse me. Alright, so let's see what else he talk about with the bones here. So the earth is over his head. He's an earth sign anyway. Fire is beneath him. And so we have the Jupiter, which is fire energy. He speaks about a little bit of the water energy and the air energy. So all aspects, right? So yeah, I know I'm not wrong though, right? I do one that. I'm going to leave it there. Came out of there by accident, so I'm going to leave it there. Alright. Anybody else came out of the circle? This one's pretty much out the circle. Alright, so let's talk about it. So in slow motion, so secrets, it comes up in this Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo energy, the earth energy, around the Venus energy. Now there is a lot, over a course of time, there's probably a lot of things that he understood and learned about and knew about that other people did not want to kind of exposed to the communities that he was discussing, right? Especially when it comes to building and creating and finances and how money flows and how we see money and how we interacted with money at that particular time. So we got that out the way. Meanwhile, you have this feminine energy that comes in the earth energy. It does not necessarily mean that it has to be somebody that he was interacting with. This could have been an elder or just a female energy in general, or his feminine principle in the Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo kind of energy, looking down on him. So, and I'm not saying looking down on him in a negative manner, but let's say this is maybe a conversation of probably his wife and the females in his family where they consider it a loss and consider it being cut off. As you see, we got this bone of physical and financial loss, right? Being cut off. So we can move that out the way. We can move that a lot. And still to this day, there's a lot that his particular family is not willing to kind of let go of, especially in life. You got this little Virgo energy right here. So, over the course of the weeks, it's going to still be conversations of him regardless. So now we have this, him and his physical presence and, negative energies around him, but him still understanding that in those energies, there was still his ancestors that experienced certain things, and that still comes up in the earth. You see this bone here. So when you're looking at this, I look at this as individuals. So we see that there's a focus, and there may have been 4 individuals. That's kind of in a, I don't know how to say it any other way, in a bitchy energy that was focused on him. And so he did identify negative energies and understood his ancestors and understood, the flow of time, things moving at medium pace, especially when it came to his thoughts and communications, which stands right there, right? So the key here is the journeys and the journey that he took to communicate with individuals, period. Is what he's discussing. Like, I traveled, I did this, he did that, he did that, he did that, to communicate, to try to find balance, right? So at the end of that, you see this coin here. This coin makes perfectly good sense because he is a Capricorn. He's in his earth energy, and he was able to produce and create, whether it was in reference to money or in reference to wealth, in reference to bringing people together in the physical reality. That's what it's about. And this is a lot of where he passed away on, based off of, outside of that, the actions of people. And you get this in between this air and fire signs. So ideas, mind, action, this Mars energy, which actually pops up there. I think maybe one time. No, I don't think Mars popped up, but I don't have the numerology report in front of me. Outside of that, you have this Mars energy, and when you're dealing with the Mars energy, you're dealing with authoritarians, you're dealing with people that's aggressive, achievers, businessmen, people with power, things like that. So at the end of the day, regardless, his push was for love and, no aggression. So when we think about that, this was the fast push that he came with, which is lots of love, trying to resolve situations with love, even though it was a lot of aggression against, his group and his mindset and the way they felt. And this moves fast in energy. Now, a lot of things that open the doors here is that he still has this other ancestral energy. When we're looking at it in the silver bone, is a powerful energy that made it so that during a particular time, his actions and things like that, it was a little loss, and he still had this emotional tie to his wife. So he probably experienced during that time threats not only towards himself, but towards his family and his wife. At the end of the day, did he find it as minuscule at the time? He did find it as minuscule because he found his purpose more important than all of that. And his significant other may feel that way, like, oh, you did all of this and went this far, and yes, it was a powerful movement, but was it worth it? Because it created emotional separation based on actions. And this falls in this Aries, Sagittarius, Leo energy. So it was definitely something that changed life at the end of the day. And people may say that there was certain things he dealt with. His weakness was his purpose, and that's why this sits here. It was like, okay, well, your purpose is your purpose, but it kind of became like a weakness, and so his significant other is probably feels or has felt like, if this wasn't such a weakness, you would still be here. It still would be we still would be a family, and you would still be physically present. So it's like, making the energy second guess, like, was it worth it? All right. Moving on, we have this light energy right here. And this falls like right in between the fire and the water signs. And so there's still a little bit of confusion. It sits there where Pluto is. And Pluto comes down in the charts a little bit, y'all. So what y'all need to understand, and just so we can be clear, when we're dealing with Pluto is, death and ending. So at that particular time, there's young people, even in today's time, that do not have a clear understanding of why he is not here physically, even though they do celebrate the day. He has a day that honors him. He has his birthday and the day that there's a lot of young people still today that don't have full and complete understanding of why he's not here. It was because he was backstabbed by people that he worked with very closely, and that's clear how he brought that down. Now, when we get back in here, this Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces energy is a discussion of memories, and the moon, the key is close to the moon in the dreams. So this is letting you know that in his movement was a lot of his emotional, how he tapped in emotionally. It's not that he didn't emotionally tap into his family and find them important, but this was a big movement, and it had a solid purpose behind it. The conversation that is coming from the energy is, do not forget my purpose. Remember why I created the purpose. Remember why he created the purpose. Remember why he was standing. Remember why he's not here. Remember his dream and continue that. Regardless of how, the family may feel like, you put this before the family and this is why you're not here. Or regardless of how it's misconstrued and misrepresented. Remember the particular area where he discussed the dream in the speech and tapped into another realm of reality to bring forth that information. So shout out to Dr. Martin Luther King, and so this is my little tribute to Dr. Martin Luther King. We tapped in. He came in with a whole lot of good energy, and we got to get a nice clear bone throw going on and a nice clear tarot card reading, a little bit of numbers involved, and so it is me, NBT SKY, deuces, smooches, all that. And like I said, I was gone for a minute, but I'm always back on a jump off. Goons in the club, case something jump off. Deuces.